What's going on, everybody? I just kind of put this live together, so I'm not together still. So I was actually, I already have it downloaded. I'm tripping. This whole time I'm doing all that for nothing. Anyway, so we're about to get into it. We're about to talk about riches, and everybody has watched it. Everyone has talked about it and all the stuff. I was trying to get to the screen I need to get on, but I can't wait to get on the computer. I'm gonna bring up Erica first. I'm gonna see who come through tonight. Um, Eric, if you can you like hit the DM for me in the group for me? And first of all, hello and welcome. How you doing, Erica? I see what it's gonna be like already. Jesus. Oh my God. I didn't forget what I was looking for. Oh, okay. Okay. We're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about Erica, can you hear me? I had to make sure I'm not on muted. Wait a minute. I'm gonna switch to my iPad real quick so I can see what is going on. I don't know what's happening right now. Hello? Can you hear me, Erica?
Wait, I can't hear you. Oh, wait.
Can you hear me?
Hey, hello?
Can you hear me? I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I'm sorry, girl. I didn't even, I was like waiting for the show to start and then I didn't realize my computer was muted. But yes, hey, hey.
Well, it wasn't just you. I was having a struggle moment as well. I had to change the different router, and in between I was just like fog.
It's been a
Well,
crazy day.
I am not happy with you, my Afro Mama. Late. I've been talking about this show for a week now, ma'am. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm only doing,
Hold on, I'm sorry. My bad. What'd you say?
no, it's okay. I'm only doing episodes 1 and 2, just so.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
Okay,
fine.
so I was about to say, if y'all gonna talk about anything more, then I'm getting off.
Oh no, no, no. I was look, really we're just gonna get to the episode one, and if we got it I just wanted to introduce us talking about a different show because Potomac's, even though we're in the half point, we're gonna begin to the point where it's gonna be reunion and it's gonna be done, So I
Yeah.
wanted to start something new slowly because we all still doing Potomac, and it's a binge show, so we all can do it. Like you said, one or two, three. It's pretty cool because some of us have seen it all completely 100% all the way through, and some of us, um, haven't seen it at all. So, my Afro Mama. So now I could have sworn I tell everybody we're gonna be doing this tonight because I know I put it in the chat because I thought I said we were gonna do this instead of doing Potomac.
Well, I think I saw you were like, should we? And then I wasn't sure if we made the final decision or whatever. But yeah, that's fine. I mean,
No,
Potomac
I
was
did.
kind of boring today, so yeah.
It really was. I was like, what is happening? I was like, no, ma'am. I was like, I'm not even, and I don't know.
Like I watched it, but I feel like someone needs to do a recap because I'm like, what happened that I found interesting? I felt like Ray talked to Chris. Yeah, it was kind of like, okay, yeah, it was sort of.
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't really know what it is, but this episode somebody said was a filler. I think that was a pretty good statement. I think that was because my chief said that. She says it was a filler episode, which it was. It was pretty boring.
Yeah, because it's kind of like everybody being like, okay, my bad, whatever. Like pseudo making up, but like not really.
Who's this?
Yeah.
Hey, Kamisha. I ain't seen you in a minute, baby. How you doing? I love people that follow me for like a long time. They just be always my day one, no matter how many times I see them. Plus, we got the same name and spelled the same, so
Oh.
it's all the way live. Oh yeah, that's a long time. Okay, so we're gonna get into Riches, starting with Steven Richards. And I guess why the name is Riches. I just kind of was like thinking about that. A lot of us said it. Riches, Steven Richards, who has this big empire. Like the very first scene when I see him and I see how he's moving and shaking the things, I remember watching him and saying he looks troubled. I mean, of course, it's just coming on for the first time of me seeing it. But I remember looking at him, I was like, he just looks troubled. What did you think?
Um, yeah, I mean, it was sort of like, you know, it was cool. I like the idea of this black empire, and I like that they were immigrants from Africa or whatever. And then, it's like, okay, what's going to happen to them? Because you can see it's like, you know, something's pending. Um, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think I was like, okay, what's going to happen? Something's going to happen to him, obviously. And obviously, things aren't as great as he's portraying. So you always know it's like this wonderful, like they have these riches, but you do also get that vibe that, okay, you know, there's trouble behind this. So,
It also was to me the way he called his daughter on the phone. I feel like from that point on, it seemed like things just was like pow 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 because I remember the way they showed her walking up and down. I think I don't know if she was in Atlanta, New York, she was somewhere.
mhm.
Doing her thing and getting the call, it seemed like her dad was like nothing. Like I could think about my dad, and if I think about him talking about him too much, I can start crying because, he's my dad or whatever, and I miss him. So her hearing about, and I remember how well when he died. So I can remember watching that. She just was so nonchalant. Not he didn't die yet, but just the way he called her, and she was like, "Don't call me again. You ain't nobody." Da da da. I was just like, I mean, of course, there's a story behind it. Obviously, I'm not blind to that, but just still, um, she just seemed so cold to him because obviously he hurt so bad. But I've always make that seem like the way she is. I'm sorry, the way she is because of the fact she's kind of cold hearted a bit because the way her dad did her and hurt and everything else. Hey, kiss my cheeks.
Hey, ladies.
Hey, hey.
We are just talking about Rich's episode 1 because I think there's a lot of people haven't only said we're just talking about episode 1 right now. We're just going to go from there, and then um we just started from the beginning. I said that I felt like the dad looked trouble to me when I first saw him, and then Erica responding. So whenever you want to take it off, we right there.
The beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. The dad looked normal to me, but since I've watched all 6 episodes, I think a little bit differently now. But I don't blame Nina for having an attitude at the beginning. I can't imagine growing up with a dad for 7 years and then bam, he's gone like a stranger on the street for the rest of my life. And
Mm.
then that's her first phone call from him. Like, I would have
Mm.
attitude too.
No, like I said, I wasn't trying to like say she wrong for having an attitude. I was just, just talking about how she was so pissed off and she was so angry. It was just so much. But
I'm surprised she
um,
answered the phone.
because
Like, I would have not
especially when she's
answered the
just like,
phone
okay,
or hung up in his face.
I think it was like a number she didn't have before. I don't think it was a number she recognized because that's why she was like, "How'd you get this number?" I don't know if it was like a fake number he had or something. I don't know how he actually got it, but I don't think it was like because she looked at it like maybe I'm wrong. I don't know,
Yeah, I
but
thought I got that impression too because she was like, well, because it seemed like it was a new phone, which means she probably hadn't blocked him yet, I would assume. and but I thought it was kind of well done because it kind of plants the seed in what could have happened in their relationship, that he would call her saying, someone's after me, and she's kind of like, deuces. So it does kind of have you thinking like, what happened. I mean, it kind of gets you going early on in the episode, which I like, because they kind of move fast, but they still leave you guessing to some extent.
Well, all I know is that when everybody found out everything. Of course, we know now what the mama was doing. She came in there running like she gave a crap when she was struggling there and all this kind of stuff. I was like, Lord have mercy. Did anybody like this man? Like, and like I said before, the youngest was ironically the one that was seeming to me that was like concerned the most and all that stuff. And everybody was just like so involved in what they had to do. And the two Simon and Nina obviously didn't have nothing to do with him because he didn't have nothing to do with them. To come back to, because it's a United Kingdom and then it's United States, and it's like they're showing two different worlds and all that. And that's why I hate my head watching, because the way they click their tongue, to me that's fascinating to me. This lady at my job does that, and it's almost like when we cuss or get irritated. But I love how they do it. I don't know what they do, the way they click their tongue. That shit is crazy to me. And so just the different things and how they respond and all this kind of, we're all normal. We all do things, whatever. Just a different culture. I love it, and just showing the black, like Erica said, the black people just running it, because it's a whole business. It's their thing. Even how the dad was being so arrogant. The things he was saying wasn't a lie. He was like, I went to many people to get my business started, and they were white companies, and they wouldn't have nothing to do with me. And then obviously he said, I bet they wish they did now because I'm that one. I love that. So that was some real shit. It was just really good. What did you ladies think?
Mm, I mean, I was proud that he had a successful black-owned hair care company, but I didn't care about all that. I was more into the drama.
I'm into that too, mom. I'm
Mm,
just so pro. You know how pro I get, but I was into the
hmm
mess too. But I like stuff like that as well, because I be always preaching and stuff like that. So I can't help it but tap into that.
Yeah,
But
I agree with you. I really like that because, it's good to see, okay, well, I thought it was an interesting perspective because you see him as the underdog. Like, okay, nobody would help me, da 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 da.
Mhm,
And then come to find out, yeah, nobody would help you and a woman that helped you with this idea. And
100%.
so that's the part where sort of the dynamic where, and it does make you think. And I've only seen episode 1 and 2, but I do want to see on the flip side, after you um, diss their mother, you know what I'm saying? They still got educated. She still is making moves. So I want to go, I want to see, I'm sure they'll show it in the upcoming episodes. What happened to the mama after you broke her heart, after you stepped on her? You know what I'm saying? What does she have to do to make it without
See,
you?
see,
So,
when I first, that's what I'm saying. If I put my mind frame, when I first watched the first episode, the first thing I was thinking about when I seen the mama run in to barely come there to see him, I was like, she must be doing something she ain't got no business doing. And I said, I bet you he knew what was going on, and maybe that's why he called his daughter. That was the first thing I said, because you know how if something's wrong with you, maybe some people want to make amends some kind of way, and they're usually your kids, the one they're estranged from, and he has two estranged kids. That's the first thing I thought about when I watched episode one. He was trying to
yeah,
make it
Well,
in.
yeah. Now that you know, I mean, I guess Erica, you gotta finish watching it because
Hmm,
after
hmm.
you see the whole picture, then yeah, I understand he wants to make amends to his children, but it's still so much that was foreshadowed in like episode 5, episode 6,
Hmm.
where
Yes. Hmm.
like I
Yeah.
need them to drop the rest of the episodes immediately.
And look, I was just like I said, I damn near, I ain't gonna say what I did. I was driving. This show here had me hooked from the first episode. I watched it on my lunch break. Next thing I know, I'm running back in and listening to what they telling me. But I got this stuff playing. It's so good. I was like, this is a good. This is good. She did a good job with the writing because Nina, when she would walk in with the suits and the red lippy, I was like, she's killing it. And she would have
Mhm.
those looks, how she could really truly all of them was vibing. It was a whole vibe with the style. Honestly, it was a whole vibe with the fashion, with the
Yes,
culture.
with
And
the hair, the
for
hair was
first,
good too.
I'm for the first you again, Ma, because there was a scene where the son was talking to his mom because the mother came back from United States and they started speaking the language. I said, I want to ask Swahili. I can't ask you. You know why? Because you haven't watched it. Anyway, I'm so sorry, my G.
Exactly. And I love sort of the interaction between the black American, the British, the black British, and then the immigrants. And that's when when she was talking, I think this is episode 2, when she was talking to the reporter, and she was like, yeah, this company has Americans, we're black immigrants, so don't come over here like she can't run this company because this ain't no British company either. So I thought that was really kind of cool how they're showing sort of all of the different,
Yes.
types of black people coming together to run this company. So I really like that dynamic. And I really like the idea that she's she's there to run the company, but at least in these first 2 episodes, they dropped the seed of sort of like, was the father murdered? Was something else going on? Who is, embezzling the money? So she's kind of also there to find out what's going on with the company,
Yes.
just to kind of solve this sort of mystery outside of like, I'm just here to, you know, to take over or whatever. So that part I think is really good. They're doing a good job sort of with, kind of keeping you hooked in because the drama is interesting, but they're
It's
keeping
like
you.
it's like a story within a story, in my opinion, because you have the story of the everything you just said as far as the money or the kids coming down to see is him, whatever. Then you also have like the JR situation. Now I come. I mean, I'm from the '90s, but I was a little girl in the '80s, and I remember JR. As far as who shot JR, that was a big deal for like freaking
Right.
forever. So that's what this gave me, but United Kingdom, where it's like, okay, who shot Dad? Da da da. So you can like Kim Chick sees. I can see it's like this is series season 3, 4, 5 because it's so many layers in this show and so many different story within the story that I'm so worried about the kids coming home and trying to fight for their company that we have this a whole other story of that he really have a heart attack. It's crazy.
Exactly. And I think what also will be interesting to see is what really happened sort of in the flashbacks, like what really happened in those relationships. You know what I'm saying? Because no one usually just cheats and leaves like forever, whatever. Even if they have another baby, it's like what you really
Hmm.
want to know, like what really happened. You know, is it all his fault the way they're making it out to be, and and how were his kids, like they seem like they're the spoiled whatever brats or whatever, but I have to assume that there's something deeper there that they went through even though they had him there as a father. So it'll be interesting,
And that's really
where
how
they
it
do
normally
that.
goes. Keep my cheese.
I agree. I mean, I want to answer that, but I don't want to answer it because I don't want to spoil it.
I was about to say, don't tell me, girl, these are just my questions.
Because it's hard to talk about that without spoiling it.
Yeah, it really. Ma, you need to watch it with your husband. Then he can come on as a guest, and y'all can talk about next episode. I know she's gonna understand.
Exactly.
Oh
Okay,
my
well, let me
god.
ask you this, Kiss My Cheeks. Here's a question you can answer. So how did you feel about her, like the whole time they're like, oh, I don't want the company, I don't want the company, and then she changes her mind at the last minute. What were your thoughts on that?
Um, I'm kind of petty and spiteful and would have done the same thing because she didn't want the company until she said something about her mama.
Yep.
And like, oh, bitch, you gonna talk about my mama? Okay, well, I changed my mind.
Hundred
Sorry,
percent. I sure would have. I would did that. I would did that. But
but honestly, if it was me and the way they treated the brother and the sister and how they changed the time of the funeral and all that, I would have sold my shares, took my part of my inheritance, and went back home and mind my business
Mm.
if it was me.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think that, I mean, honestly, just as a writer or whatever, it's like obviously she's going to take the company.
Right.
So I was like,
Very,
okay, but
yeah.
I did find it interesting, kind of the way they played it, and that was kind of cool. And I think what will be interesting is to see um, how the bond is between her and her brother, because I feel like that's why the wife went to him, because that's a link, that's a weak link there. The same way they, what I'm saying, like you can find a weak link in everybody's little group, and so
Oh,
that's what's interesting. So it's like, okay, is he gonna betray her? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he don't really want to be there. He got his life. You know, is he gonna be able to be swayed or no? Um, but it's interesting to see kind of how people's alliances line up, because the same way the stepmother went to her is the same way they went to the I guess the middle sister, because they say, okay, you just do social media, you don't do this. And even the mother was kind of like, girl, they're just trying to use you to get to me. And that's what made her take the job, because she's like, okay, so it's interesting to see how they're going, how both sides are
right.
finding kind of the weak link in the other, in the opposing family.
So watching episode 1 and 2, you looked at Simon as the weak link. Hmm.
I mean, of those two, yeah,
Right.
because he doesn't really want to be there and she wants to fight. And so he's supporting her right now. And he's like, okay, I'm not going to fall for this. Or that's what, kind of what he told his stepmom. But I don't know if that'll be true, you know, later on.
Well, I can't even. I can't. I'm like hitting my cheese now because like
You
every
can't even talk about it
I
once
can't
the
even
whole
say.
thing.
Look. This was a preview because next time we probably gonna have Mod and I don't know who else gonna be on here. And so this was just like a preview. We wanted to talk about it, but I'm
All right, all
I'm
right, all right. Okay,
I'm
let me think of something you guys can talk about. My bad, because it's like when I had so much going on this weekend. I saw the first two, and then but I was kind of like, oh, just knock them all out, girl, because they were really good.
right.
Um,
I only did it because it was so good. I didn't really like you. I didn't actually have like time. I think Kim Archie in the beginning, she had saw her the break. I believe she said she watched on the break. It wasn't like I had like time to just sit there and just go through them. I started seeing it at work, and then when I got off, I tried to, but I fell asleep. So I'll do the same thing, and then on my day off, I would finish it because I wanted to just binge it, but I was at work and it was struggling. So you watch like 30, 15 minutes here, 20 minutes here, but it was so good.
right, exactly. And I like these kind of shows, so I'm already kind of looking for, okay, this person's gonna betray them. This person's gonna do this. Like that's just how I be thinking. So I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens. So and I'm like, okay, who's really embezzling that money? And and then the guy who's sleeping with the stepmama, he ain't true to nobody. So I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, I'm sure that white man is horrible, even though he's helping her. I'm like, I know he's betraying something.
Oh,
I know
Jesus.
he is. I was like, I just know they wrote it like that. So I have
Oh,
so many ideas.
I'm so okay. I am so done with this conversation.
I was like, I know he ain't shit. I just know.
Give
So
my
I was
team.
like,
I'm
oh my
so
god.
done with this conversation.
I was like, but okay, I'm gonna go with it. But yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get. I'm so excited. All right, so we're talking about these two episodes. I'm trying to think, you guys. Oh, I hate that you guys have seen everything. Okay.
I know it's not really it's not your fault or anything, but a lot of people binged it, but a lot of people hadn't. So it's
Well, yeah, because that's the thing. If the show really gets you hooked, like I had to stop it because I was like, go ahead, girl, watch number three.
right.
And then because I think we were going to do this on Friday, so I was like, well, I finished two, and then I forgot something came up, or maybe I watched Love After Lockup or something else. But what else was I gonna
I'm gonna say,
say?
Erica, real quick.
Go
One
ahead.
and two are lead up episodes, like getting the background together. Once you turn on three, you aren't going to be able to turn it off. Because for me,
Girl.
3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm waiting for more. Like once you get into 3, it's too good to turn off. So I
True.
understand because I stopped at 2 as well. I watched the first one. I was like, oh, I'll come back to it. But once I turned on 3, I was like, I couldn't get up from my break. I had to watch all of them.
Yeah, and I can see that because to me, like I like sort of mysteries and stuff. So I'm already like, okay, this is important. This is important. I don't want to say anything about all the white people, but I'm always looking at them hard. Like him and the secretary. I'm like, what
Erica.
are
Oh
y'all
my
doing?
All I'm gonna
God.
say
What is
is
happening right now?
that energy, keep
What
that
is happening right
energy.
now? What is what?
I'm sorry, not saying nothing, but they seem supportive, but they also seem sneaky. Nothing racist.
Always keep a good eye on them. Always.
Lord
Nothing
have
racist
mercy.
into them. I'm giving both of them the side eye. And then but yeah, but I think it'll be interesting to see, like I couldn't tell, and if you guys can tell from the first 2 episodes, I couldn't tell, or maybe it was because I was doing something else, but what was it that the youngest sister and the mom found behind the bookshelves or whatever?
Oh,
Like,
you don't learn that till later on.
okay, okay. Because I
Yeah.
was like, I can't even see what it is, but okay. And
They
then
found a safe, but they aren't gonna show you till later on what's in the safe.
Hmm.
got you. And then let's see. So what did you all think about the one thing I will say, I guess it's kind of a, I don't know if I want to say a turn off. The only thing I would say that I have an issue with in the writing is the second wife is written like such a villain. You know what I mean? Like they just make her seem like there's nothing likable about her at all. She just, I mean, she just seems like a horrible, like maybe, you could sell her jewelry or something, but I don't see anything likable about her in the first 2 episodes at all. You know what I'm saying? Like she's changing the time of the funeral, just the way she talks to the other kid, and even the way she's kind of dealing with her kids is kind of you know, she just seems like
She's playing a dramatic queen. She's over the top. Everything is about her. She's the evil stepmother. Of course, she changed the time of the funeral. For one thing, she wants it to be about all about her, even though her husband died, but most definitely about her kids, not about the woman she took from, who she's proud to say kids father from. So I mean, she just
Yeah, she don't have no shame in that.
none, none. She's talking about how the she's talking about how he. Well, never mind. Too
yeah,
far
I
afield.
mean that's the thing. I feel like, and maybe I'll see, so that's the only thing to me that I feel is sort of lacking in the writing, I would say, because I like even your villain, like even killers have something there. So I wanted to see some sort of softness in her, even when she was dealing with her own
It's
children.
too early for
Yeah,
just
you
watch
have
the
to keep
rest.
watching.
Yes, yes,
All right,
yes.
well, hopefully they soften that.
Lord Jesus,
She's
Ariel
horrible
coming hard at
now.
the mama. The kid about to say what's going on.
Oh, you hear me crunching?
I was like, damn.
I'm eating this Hershey's Kiss with an almond in it. I probably should have muted myself.
No worries,
I
no
wouldn't
worries.
even hide even hear.
Oh,
But yeah,
Anyway,
hopefully
well, I
they'll
hear now
soften
you
them up
said
a little
that,
bit.
but it'll be on a podcast. Perfect. That's perfect sound in the podcast. Oh yeah, shout out to everybody on the podcast. This is live on YouTube and Twitch, and it's live on Facebook and Twitter, but it will be on the podcast and it'll be up and you can hear us. I upload them for my team, aka my son. He uploads them for me and it goes to my Amazon Music and iHeartRadio and Apple and Spotify and something else. So much you guys, if you're not subscribed to the podcast, or if you're not on YouTube or Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, or you're liking type things or whatever, go download that and help me become number one reality TV podcaster. Yes.
Yes, yes. Okay, let me ask you guys this. Here's sort of a self-contained question, I think. What are your thoughts about the whole the conditioner that was taking people's hair out? Because it seemed like that kind of concluded by the end of episode 2, I think. So I think that
Taking
sort of,
what?
remember they because they fired the guy she fired because they were kind of like remember the Facebook group where they were like,
Mhm.
oh, the conditioner was basically taking out people's edges.
Okay, yes. Okay. What about it now?
So my question to you is, how do you all feel about how she sort of handled that? Because that was like sort of a C storyline that kind of concluded, from what I could tell, by episode 2. They kind of resolved it to some extent.
It's so much
So
more with the stories that I really can't. It's so
Yeah,
much more.
that's the beginning. I felt like it was just a way to introduce Alicia into the business because Alicia was never really a part of the business, and that's why I need more episodes. And I hope this doesn't spoil it too much, but they didn't deep dive into the characters as much as I would have liked them to.
oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like they would say something about a character and then it'll be like, okay, that was said, but it was never a deep dive into like, okay, why was Alicia's the oldest? Why wasn't she groomed to be a part of the business? Why didn't her parents see in her what her sister Nina saw in her? It's kind of like,
Right.
okay, Alicia figured out the products. Okay, you could be ahead of products. That's it.
Gotcha.
But to me, for me, I know we haven't got no more. We ain't got any more of stories or anything yet. I feel like the mom had a lot of control over of everything, as far as how even though because how she acted about the girl, but the face of the company. I just felt like it was her, the mother,
But she
because
said that was her event because I feel like the mom is too hands on for someone who's supposed to be this housewife that just swipes her credit card and shops and, is a socialite. Like, she was doing too much in the business. Like, the way they set those children up, like, the way they were introduced, if they would have got a hold of that company, the company would be gone probably in 6 months.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was kind of like Alicia. Yeah, and I couldn't even tell actually that she was the oldest because I thought she was the middle child because the son was acting like he was the oldest. So it was interesting, um, and he still seemed like.
well, I think that might be another cultural thing that I wanted to ask Maud about how the father. Hold on just a second, y'all. Hang on just a second.
She must have a phone call. But that could be a cultural thing where they groom the men to be the leaders to take over, and then it seemed like the daughters just had their little allowance and do what y'all must with y'all allowance.
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. Um, and what were your thoughts about the youngest daughter and her actor boyfriend?
Oh, you have to keep watching for them. I can't even say.
Okay. All right. So I think the next episode we just
Okay, I'm
need.
sorry, y'all. Here I'm back. Yeah, it was a phone call, Miss Thing. My job was calling me. I was like, I hope they don't hear me. Come on, job doesn't know I do this. Not really. None of them do actually. I keep it hidden. I don't know how. But yeah, I was agreeing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Eric. Y'all can continue. I'll jump in. Go ahead.
No. I was just saying. Okay. Well, then I guess we have to. Okay. So the next time we do this, maybe we'll just do the next 4 episodes. Are they? So is it 6 episodes? Is that the whole season, or are they going to drop more episodes in this season? Do either of you know?
Now that part I don't. I've been looking stuff up and
Yeah.
somebody texted me weird in my comments like, why are you trying to look up this show? This show was canceled. Do your research. All I did was
No,
post a promo about how we were going to talk about the show. That's all I
I
did.
people did. On Prime, there's another show called Riches or The Riches, and that show has been canceled. It's a white show. This show has not been canceled, but they have not determined if they're going to release a season 2 or not yet.
Well, what I've seen is they said that the numbers and the fans and even the bloggers who are talking about, which is why I'm telling you guys to talk about this, they are paying attention and they are really thinking about doing another season. I'm pretty sure they're talking about it as we speak because they didn't know it was going to hit this big, and it did. I knew when I saw the preview. I think you guys, when I said
Right.
you guys, and I put it in y'all chat, and I said, Mickey, my cheeks immediately was like, I said, this is going to be good. I knew it. I
Yeah,
knew
you
it.
knew it from episode one it was going to be good. And that's why when someone's like, oh, it's canceled, I'm like, how could it be canceled? And it just was released. Like, you aren't even allowing the numbers to come in.
Even this picture with the dolls, the wig dolls. I was looking at the other day. I was like, this shit, that was a genius picture. I mean, even them doing that, I was like, this that lady is. She was smart how she did everything. I see this really being a big thing.
It's
People are hooked.
weird the way that this show ended, that whatever, I feel like they've already shot the next 6 episodes because the way it ended was very loose. It wasn't like a hard end and we need to hurry up and write something else. Like, it's very clear that there's 6 more episodes somewhere and they're trying to decide if they're going to release them. So go ahead and release them because I want to see. Not in 2024.
Now I don't know what is going on as far as when they're gonna release it. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing because I'm like, what is happening? Because for us, look, again, I'm gonna say this: black people that's moving like that, it was smooth. Because I'm gonna say something. Growing up for me, watching white people was always, doing shows like that. Like I said, JR, watching people who are rich or in power and taking people down and having the ex-wives, and even when you had the dynasties or whatever, we had one black woman, they really did that, and that was on there. That was it. Okay. And to see this is really a full cast of people of color, and they have some people that's not there in the show, but it just doesn't matter. It's amazing. And just like what Eric was saying, also too, even though it's messy, that's even better too, because I'm gonna tell you something. There was one soap opera, a black soap opera. I forgot the name. Was started with a D. I can't remember. It came out in like the '90s. I remember it was the only black soap opera. It lasted like maybe I don't know how long it lasted, but it was really good. And it kind of reminds me of this. It was very messy, but it was smart. And see, back then, this type of stuff would come out, but they would never last. So that's why I want to see this be like 4 or 5 seasons later.
That's what I was just going to say. We've seen these type of shows where the black people are rich, like that Vineyard show. I forgot the name. Like, I can't even, Napa Valley, something like that. We've seen these shows where the black people are the leads and they're multimillionaires, but the drama is so fake. You can't be invested in it. Like, to me, this is real drama because as messy as it is, we've all know someone, if it's not ourselves, where the daddy done up and left and had a whole nother family over here. The kids don't know each other, but they don't hate each other, but they don't love each other. Like, to me, this is real life drama. So it's easy to sink into because you can be like, and it's not something that's so outrageous that you'll be like, this is fake. Like, it seems like a really real show. So I'm 100% invested. I hope more people talk about it, and I hope the numbers go up so we can see more seasons.
Hmm.
Yeah, I agree because I feel like with I mean, I haven't watched very much of TV One or
Not
B.
TV One.
No, I'm just saying,
Well,
I'm just
the
saying
value
that
was
all those
network
different
stuff.
CW.
networks do have their own programming.
Right, right,
Like
right.
I was about to say, OWN has some programming too, but I feel like other than Queen Sugar, I haven't seen any trailers where I was like, I even want to watch this, honestly. And
Mm.
I know people who like work on like Napa Valley or whatever it is. And it's like when I watch this stuff, I'm like, oh, you can just see that the writing is not that great, even on the trailers, to keep it 100. And this is one where I was like, oh, okay. Because, yeah, like, there is sort of a flair with a Dynasty or Falcon Crest or all these other old shows,
Right, right.
but they did have something of a richness that kept you coming back every week. So you kind of are starting to get attached to the character. So that's what kind of keeps you back, coming back. So it's like, okay, is it interesting enough where I even care what happens to these people? And that's kind of and that's what I like. Or the story is, it doesn't tell you everything off the top, and they're dropping hints, so that's kind of keeps you binging outside of the fact that you're just sitting there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because theoretically, if it was a regular show like on regular TV, then we'd have to come back next week. And I think some. some other networks, I'm kind of like, yeah, I'm not coming back next week for this. But this one I am really enjoying, and I think that it is on tier with a lot of other um, dramas, or drama, stress, thrillers, or whatever, that aren't an entire black cast. I think it is definitely one, a stronger one for sure.
I agree with that as well. I do feel like that. I don't know. I really feel like that. This is something that we want to see. We want to talk about. A lot of people are speaking about it. I'm seeing a lot of positive chatter on the internet that people really are liking the show. So I hope that does bring more episodes for us. Um, and I hope that Prime sees that. Like I said, they're checking some stuff out. I saw the Deborah. She posted something recently about how she sees people commentary because they're looking for. They're looking at the hashtags. They're looking it up. They're seeing what's posted. So I just
I
gonna
know
keep on. Huh?
I know I've been posting.
I know, me too. I just retweeted it like 3, 4 times.
Is the writer African or is just the characters
Oh,
African?
I just started following the. I think I cannot say her name. It's AAB. It's because recently Deborah posted her on her. If you look at Deborah's page, she posted her on her page because she showed like she said thank you for getting so many guess how many views or whatever on the whatever it was. So it made it number 1 or something like that. So you go to her page, it's like AAABJ something like that. I don't want to mispronounce or spell her name, but it's on Deborah's page.
Well, I
And
think
then
because I feel like we need to hear more African stories because I got into watching some of the African shows on Netflix, and those
mhm.
stories are really, really good.
Yeah,
Right.
It's
I just
stories you've never heard of before.
Yeah, and I just finished watching Real Housewives of, or I think I'm on the second part of the first season, Real Housewives of Durban in South Africa, and
I still haven't watched it yet. Is it good?
it is good. It is good, and it's so crazy because they now I do know that show was renewed. So I think season two is on. I watched season one on Peacock, and season two is on. I think Showmax or something. So I have to find out where season two is because I was tempted to review it, but then I was like, well, season two is out just on a different
Uh,
platform.
that
So
show
yeah,
is, I think, you can't get Showmax in the United States. You have to watch it on
okay.
links.
So that's gonna be the thing. And then because I think what's so funny is some of the characters that I'm really liking at least one character on this season, Ayanda. I already know she didn't come back next season, so that's why I was like, oh, because I really liked her. So I was like, man, why didn't she come back? So I'm gonna see, I guess, when season two is gonna drop, and I will probably review that. Um, but it is interesting because even though it's just so interesting because then when they talk about the men from Zulu and the different tribes and stuff, it's just and you really get to see more actually African culture, and so that part is kind of I do actually really like it. It is a very intriguing thing. So, and I like that, and that's what I kind of like about this show too is they're bringing some of that African culture to you in a way that's not stereotypical, that's not like kind of what we've usually been exposed to in America, and you're still seeing sort of the American British dynamics. I think it covers a lot of bases.
Yep. So we're gonna table this and we're gonna come back to this after everybody has seen more than episode 1 and 2.
I'm just gonna
And
go ahead and finish it because I'm not gonna come back on here again and everybody's like, we can't talk about it. So we're
it's all good. It's all good. All right, Kiss My Cheese. Thank you and thank you, Erica, and hopefully Miss Mod Afro Mama will get it together. And hopefully Dina will be back as well. I think she said she wants to enjoy it also. We'll see on the confession schedule. Maybe we can figure out something for Friday. All right, y'all. Till
okay,
next
cool.
time. All right,
Bye.
y'all. Till next time. I'll see y'all. Bye.